All right. Good morning, everybody. How are you? Happy fantasy football weekend, week 11 of NFL action for everybody. I am Chris, and I am joined by my awesome friend who's traveling abroad this week. My awesome co-host, Mr. Pablo Martinez. How the heck are you, sir? Good morning. How you
Good
doing?
morning, Chris. Good morning, everybody. Happy Saturday morning.
Oh, see, he's already. So I'm gonna apologize in
Doing
advance
great.
already, everybody, because we are probably because Pablo is traveling today. We're probably gonna have some technical. We're probably gonna run into some tech stuff today. So just so everybody is aware, we're gonna
All
have
right.
probably some tech stuff. So you there, bud?
Can you hear me now?
I hear you. I hear you. So we're gonna keep the
Yeah.
show rolling today. But yeah. So once again, guys, we are here as we do every Saturday, the touchdown talk with me and Pablo as we break down this week's fantasy football action in both our respective leagues that we're both in the Dirt Invitational and the LOEMP League, which is the League of Extraordinarily Mediocre People. So we are excited, of course, too, if you have any fantasy questions at all about who you should start, who you should sit, as you look at our lineups too. If you have any advice for us, we'd love to hear it. You can also, if you're watching us on Facebook and YouTube, feel free to chat with us, or you can give us a call if you're listening on Radio Garden State, wherever. You can give us a call at 862-243-2064. That's 862-243-2064. And you never know. We may even have some people from our actual league jump in with us today. They've all been sent the link, so we'll see who's brave enough to come on the air with us today from our leagues, which should be a lot of fun. If anybody out there is listening from our leagues, you guys got the link. Click the link, come into the studio, and hang out with us today as we talk some fantasy football action, week 11. And Pablo, things are really starting to heat up here in week 11 here in both leagues and just in fantasy football in general. I mean, we're getting to that point, right, where things are getting super, super interesting.
They certainly are. Yeah, we're very excited to get to this point of our fantasy football leagues. Week 11 brings us several teams that are in the fight for a playoff spot. We've got some teams that are already clinched a playoff spot in multiple leagues, and some other teams that are really, really starting to make it a now or never type of week for this week 11. So we'll get into that. And we actually had some trade news that you and I were just talking about earlier because our
Right.
trade deadlines are coming up.
Yes, they are. So in the one league, the Dirt Invitational, we have a trade deadline today, November 16th. So you saying 3 a.m. I guess is the 12 p.m. What is the official
Yeah,
deadline?
12 a.m. Pacific
hmm
time. So midnight for Pacific time. That is when
Okay,
our trade deadline officially hits.
got
In
it.
in our in the one league we have the Dirt League that would be today. So today is our
hmm
last day of trades. The other league that we're going to talk about and go over together on today's show is our LOEMP league that has a trade deadline for next Saturday. So we have a full
Yes,
week
next
left.
Saturday. Yes.
Yeah.
So getting super interesting, and there were some trades made, at least in one league. And by the way, guys, I do want to mention this. And John, I'm talking to you because I'm going to text you. But if anybody from a league is watching right now, please check your trades because people are making trades, including me, looking to sell at the deadline a bit. So make sure you are keeping track of your texts, the chat in Yahoo or however, the Facebook group, all that stuff. And that goes for everybody in any fantasy league. Guys, I don't know how your trades operate. I mean, a lot of the leagues are pretty much these next couple weeks. So make sure you're on top of it with your league because you could be missing out on a really good deal. By the way, as people get a little desperation mode kind of sets in a little bit. So don't sleep on some of the deals that you could potentially
Absolutely.
be the winner of this fantasy football weekend. So we did have some trades go down this week, Pablo. So you want to talk a little bit about what went down?
Sure thing. So in our LOEMP league, we had three trades go down this week. As you bring that up on your screen, I'll start going over them one by one. The first trade that
Sure.
went down this week was a trade made between Keith's cool team and It Takes Two to Tango.
hmm
Keith's cool team traded away J.K. Dobbins
Yes.
and in return received DeAndre Hopkins, who has now become the wide receiver one for Patrick Mahomes. Hopkins
Yeah.
is stepping up and showing that he's shaking off a few years on off the field. He looks like vintage Hopkins. He's been absolutely great.
Yeah, he looks really good. So, I mean, if you have him on your team, congratulations, because you should be
Yeah,
getting some nice production. And Kansas City desperately needed some help for sure. And so that was a good trade by them. And so if you've got him on your team, awesome. And if you're looking for somebody, maybe someone's willing to make a trade. I don't know who, but hey, you never know. You
you
never
never know.
know.
You
There's
always got
always
to
a
keep trying.
price. There's always a price.
There should be, yes. Everybody
Yes.
should always have a price. Don't look at players as players that you don't want to trade ever. As long
Yeah.
as the price is right, everybody should be negotiable. So the next trade we had go down involved your team, Yoda Best team,
Yes.
who acquired Jameis from Pablo McPablo face, who received in return two quarterbacks for the same team, Andy Dalton and Bryce Young. So no matter which of the two starts, Pablo McPablo face will have a starting quarterback to put in their starting lineup.
Yeah, and just to talk to that really quick, I mean, I got screwed this week with quarterbacks in both teams and both leagues because a lot of bye weeks and then guys getting benched, because we had a lot of flip flopping between starters and then backups and then going with the backup and then switching it out on Thursday. And this has been happening to me. And I wound up picking up Desmond Ritter. He was the starter, and then it flipped again. It's just like, so it's been wild with a lot of these back and forths when we look at Bolt with Indiana and what's going on in Vegas. It's a lot. So yeah, I desperately needed a quarterback, and I was obliged by Pablo McPablo face by Josh.
There you go. Hey, I'm glad you two found a way to benefit
Yeah.
both teams. But this season has been definitely. I think that's like the biggest outliner of the 2024 NFL season. How
Yeah.
much quarterback change and turnover we've seen this year, way more than in previous seasons. I think.
Yeah, I mean, there's been a ton of quarterback change going on, and especially in these two leagues, like we have a super flex league in both these leagues, and so you want to have two quarterbacks, which means then you also want to have another two quarterbacks on your bench, and between bye weeks and injuries, and guys being benched, we have what's going on with in Carolina with Andy Dalton and Bryce Young. It's just like it's been a lot. It's been a revolving door in some of these on some of these teams, and so from a fantasy perspective, it's been hard. And you're like, whoa, I got to pick up both guys, because you don't know who's going to start and sit, and all. It's been wild. It's definitely kept you on your toes from a fantasy perspective. And I can only imagine too being a fan of some of these teams. Like, well, who's my quarterback this week? I mean, the Giants are going to be interested to see what kind of situation the Giants are going to be in. Drew Lock is it? You're going to see Cutlets in. Like, do you have to pick up every Giants quarterback now because you don't know who's going to be starting and finishing out the rest of the year? Like, these are the things that like you got to start thinking about. Like, who are you going to start stashing away because they may be finishing out the season, which could be good points for you, especially going into playoffs, right?
Yeah, and like you said earlier, this time of the year is not only important for fantasy football, but for real NFL football. That's why we see some of these
Yeah,
quarterback changes, like with the Giants. There's a healthy Daniel Jones out there that's may not get the starting job going forward for football reasons, not because he got
right.
injured or because he was playing that poorly. It's more of a franchise decision for the future. You're like, do we want to bench Daniel Jones now or not? That's the
Yeah,
type of situation that as fantasy managers we have to accommodate for quickly.
yeah, absolutely.
So
Well said.
the last trade that we saw go down in this league was between our team called The Name is Dalton, who received Will Levis, another quarterback,
Yeah,
and in exchange traded away Khalil Shakir, the wide receiver for the Buffalo Bills, to Mighty Morphin Power Rangers.
right.
Dalton, the name is Dalton, was another team who was impacted by some quarterback change. He had Joe Flacco from the Indianapolis Colts, and Flacco got benched and now found himself in a pickle trying to get a quarterback in a hurry, which was able to get one via trade.
Yeah. Which is good because I mean this is the stuff that's been going on. We're talking about it, like all the quarterback stuff And also too, wide receivers. I mean, we've seen a lot of starting wide receivers go down. I mean, this has been. I mean, I feel like every year in the NFL. I mean, it's such a physical game, and the injuries to all the starters across the board are like, it's plentiful now, and you really got to start. This is where keeping a good bench is key, and a lot of these guys stashing because you just don't know week to week anymore, like who's going to be healthy and who's going to be out for a couple days, or with the concussions going on. So it's a lot of maneuvering going on when you're a fantasy manager these days. I feel like more so than it was in the past when I first started playing fantasy football.
Yeah, yeah, you definitely have to stay sharp and on top of all these moves.
Yeah,
But yeah, so those were the three trades. I thought it was great that we had so many in one week. And we
yeah.
still have one more week in this league, so keep at it, people. Let's go get them.
Keep at it. Keep at it. So, all right. So let's start breaking this down. Let's start going into who our picks are. And before we do that, Pablo, where are we at? Because I know you're the resident statistician here in our duo here on Touchdown Talk. You're the record keeper. So where are you and I at with our picks on all time right now on our picks? Who's been getting it right? Who's been getting it wrong?
All right. So this past week was very, very good. You came out on top. So our total for the season now is a tie at once again.
Once again,
69 picks each. We got 69
69.
correct each. Last week you hit 10 out of 12.
Mm-hmm.
In the LOEMP league, you went 6 for 6. You were flawless.
Right.
And I got 9 out of 12 right. So that brings our total tally to 69 each.
All right. 69. I like it.
Yeah.
So yeah, guys. So as we go along here, once again, we're going to be talking about our two leagues. And so that means we'll be talking about different players, different lineups, things like that. But as we go along, if you have any questions at all about who you should pick up, if there's a trade on the block, whether you're in a league, not in a league, if you start, sit, whatever, let us know. Drop them in the comments. Or once again, you can feel free to call us. We'll put you on the air at 862-243-2064. That number, once again, is 862-243-2064. So feel free to call in. Or like I said, if you're watching over on Facebook or YouTube, drop it in the chat. And I do want to remind you, if you... we are, once again, being hosted also on Radio Garden State. So thank you guys so much. Thanks, Radio Garden State, for hosting this program that Pablo and I have been doing for fun, and it's been great. But yeah, now we are broadcasting out live anywhere, everywhere, and you can check it out. Go to RadioGardenState.com if you want to listen on the radio, or use the TuneIn app, or, of course, listen to us on any Alexa device if you can't be on Facebook or YouTube. So let's jump into our LOEMP League. That is, once again, the League of Extraordinary Mediocre People, and this is a full PPR league here, right? Full PPR, this one?
That is correct.
I always get this confused every freaking week. I'm like, you think I can get it straight?
You're
But
good. You're good.
And
12 team, full PPR, Superflex.
yes, there you go. Thank you, sir. Thank you for setting the stage. And so we are week 11. Pablo, we usually pick a game of the week here for this league on the Touchdown Talk. We have a Touchdown Talk game of the week. So what is this week's game of the week, would you think? I mean, I know we have the Brothers Bowl going on right now with me and my brother facing each other, the number 3 and number 4 teams. Any other teams or any other matchups stick out to you as a potential for game of the week?
A lot of these matchups, the crazy thing about this league is that the standings are so close. We have so many teams in a really, really tight race. Like, I'm in 11th place.
Yeah,
but I'm not worried tremendously about this because I'm only one game behind a playoff spot.
Yeah, I mean,
it takes is one win, and I'm back. We
have
in it.
3, 4, and 6 teams, 4, 5, and 5 teams, 2, 6, and 4 teams, and then of course we have 7 and 3 with Keith and Suck My Dicka 8 and 2 Tina sitting up top. But like, this is wild, man. This is really wild how close it is. I mean, unfortunately, it takes 2 at a tango's pretty much out at this point, 1 and 9. But hey, it's you don't have to finish last place. There's still plenty of time to crawl out of number 12 spot there. But I can't believe how close. I feel like this is the closest it's ever been. I don't know. For some reason I can't ever remember it being this close in this league since we've been doing this league.
Following the show here and sitting there in first place again for another week. and
Hmm.
looking very, very comfortable there with 8 wins on the season. But
Yeah.
yeah, I guess so. Going back to which game is going to be a good fit for the game of the week, I think that maybe the game between brothers might be a good fit. Actually, it's funny, in both leagues, you guys are playing each other.
That
So
is
we've got
true.
yeah, brotherly love showdown going down
Yeah.
in both leagues. So I definitely think it's worth having that game highlighted for this league here.
All right, very good. So let's take a look at that. Let's dive into the Brothers Bowl, which is my team, Yoda Best team, and Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, last year's champ, who's also the commissioner in this league as well. And so brother versus brother. And I do want to point out, biggest blowout of the week last week was my team versus CD's Nuts, through a huge beatdown due to the Jamar Chase huge performance. 157.23 to 66.56. Woo, done. That has to sting. That has to sting.
Yeah,
Just saying.
that was bad.
It was bad. But hey, that's all right. Another week, another week. All right, so let's go, because right now I'm not looking great in this matchup currently. Kevin, my brother, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, already up with points on the board at 34.30. I'm only 2. I had Washington defense go the other night, Thursday night, and man, I did not perform well. Only got 2 points. Of course, he had Saquon Barkley on his team, and look at these points, man. 146 rushing yards, 2 rushing TDs, 52 receiving yards. We're at 34.30 whopping points. Damn.
Yeah, he looked great too. He looked outstanding.
Looked
It's
absolutely
like
great.
maybe his best season yet. He's
Yeah.
competing up there with Derrick Henry to lead the league in rushing. They're both the only 2 backs right now over 1,000 yards on the season,
Mm-hmm.
and he's looking fantastic. So
He is looking
lucky all
great.
of you fantasy managers who have Barkley this year. It's been great for you, and it's been great for Kevin, Mighty Morphin Power
Power
Rangers here.
Rangers, yeah.
Yeah. Uh,
So yeah,
so
I
all
mean,
right.
this was the week I had to make a play for quarterback, so I wound up getting Jameis Winston from Pablo McPablo face, because if you look at my bench, Baker Mayfield on a bye, Justin Fields obviously hasn't been starting. He's just benched. He's a stash for me, and I had to go out and pick up Desmond Ritter because initially he was announced as the starter. So I went and picked him up. He was on the waiver wire. And I did at one point have, I'd got the Jameis Winston trade done and Desmond Ritter. So I was like, okay, I can roll with 2 quarterbacks. And then they made the decision, I think Thursday or something, that Gardner Minshew, Uncle Rico, was going to be starting. And Desmond Ritter is now back. So I'm like, great. So now I got 1 QB going up against Bo Nix here on the other side. He's got Russell Wilson in the super flex spot, but my brother's stack is pretty good. I am hoping, because I do have Jamar Chase still and I have Amon-Ra St. Brown, I am hoping Deontay Johnson comes back to life this week. Now the
Okay.
projections are low, but I'm hoping, I am praying Deontay Johnson gets the looks and they get him going this week, because it's been a couple weeks since the trade. Let's go.
Yeah, he hasn't really had a big game yet since he arrived at Baltimore, and I think that's why his projections are low. But he
Yeah.
certainly has it in him. So I wouldn't be surprised that this is the week where we really see Deontay take off. I don't, with the Baltimore team, it doesn't seem like there's a wide receiver who's consistently getting a lot of fantasy production. It
Yeah.
seems to rotate. Lamar's been doing a great job at passing the ball around.
Yep.
And
Yeah.
like
He's been spreading it
so
around for sure.
it could
Using
be
the tight
Deontay's week.
ends. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
but
it's
this could definitely be the week where this benefits you.
that's where I'm hoping. It's where I'm hoping. So, I need all the help I can get this week. And of course, because I don't have another quarterback right now, I am rolling with Valdez Scantling, who is basically at this point kind of the de facto number 1 in New Orleans right now, because Olave's done. Well, we don't know if he's done for the season, but still really out with that bad concussion. And he and the other receiver there is out too.
Yeah, it's difficult to
Shahid,
see,
right? Yeah, right.
Yes,
Rashid Shahid.
yes.
He's done for the season. There it is. Yeah, sorry, I was like blanking out on the names there.
Yeah, it's difficult to anticipate what's going to happen with Olave. Right now, it doesn't look great. So I would say there's a likelihood that maybe he's
Yeah.
not back on the field, but I guess TBD. We'll see.
Yeah. So I'm hoping that I can get some production out of that, considering Cleveland's secondary is not great. So at the moment, so I'm hoping that I'm gonna see a lot of action there, and
Well,
it'll help me
Scantling,
points wise.
Valdez Scantling, MBS definitely had a big week. I think it was
Huge
just
week.
last week, right? Yeah,
Yep.
yeah, 27 fantasy points. So there's a chance he could stay in the Flames.
Right.
Not a bad idea to try to bet on that. So let's see what that can bring for you. Um, Looking at the rest of your lineups,
Mm-hmm.
I think that the projection right now has you down,
Big
at
time.
116, big time.
But
But
that's
there
due
is a
to
lot
the
of
big points.
right. I think there's a lot of potential there for some boom weeks out of different players that you have there. So I wouldn't be too pessimistic about the outcome here. I think it's a lot closer in reality than it's projected to be right now. Um, these are 2, 6, and 4 teams currently sitting in third and fourth place, and I think that it's going to be an uphill battle for Yoda Best team. However, I think there's a lot of potential there for Chris to duke it out with his brother,
Yeah.
and put up a good fight throughout the entire week, all the way into Monday night.
I I
So
I feel like I could definitely put up a good fight, and I even though it looks grim at the moment, I feel good. I feel good. So, of course, who am I picking in this matchup? Of course, I'm picking myself.
all right, very good, as you should, as you should. I'm gonna lean with the easy pick here. Mighty Morphin Ballard projected to win
Yep.
by a bit of a margin. So for the sake of picks, that'll be the way I lean this week.
All right. And if it wasn't me playing, I probably would be picking my brother as well. But because I'm playing my brother, I'm picking myself.
Of course, no,
Cool.
understandable.
And I do want to acknowledge really quick because Viviana is coming in. And thank you, Viviana, for reminding us. It's Tina Johnson's birthday. Happy
Oh,
birthday,
Tina!
Tina.
Happy birthday, Tina! How did we miss this?
Let's go, Tina. Happy birthday to you. Of course,
Thank you,
owner
Vivi,
of
for
the first place team right now. Suck my dick.
yeah. Thank you, Vivi, for the reminder.
Yes.
So no, fantastic. Yeah.
Yes.
So why don't we look at that matchup next with Tina's team?
Yep. Let's do that. Let's look at the birthday girl and Shardy McDennis, Kevin Williams team versus Suck My Dick, Tina. And right away, the projections are in Shardy McDennis's favor, 146 to 136. But Tina having an okay night. Jalen Daniels has been doing well, except this Thursday night. I mean, that was a tough game. I mean, he had 191 passing yards, 1 passing touchdown, 22 completions. So didn't have this huge Jalen Daniels night. And McLaurin, who she has as her stack here, only 2 points. Only 2 points
Yeah.
there. So it didn't do her any favors.
No, no. Their season has been pretty good, especially Daniel's season has been pretty good.
Yeah,
But they were up against a tough defense.
they were. Yeah.
On defense and on offense, but their defense has been doing a pretty good job at keeping these top receivers and top running backs in check. And I think that's kind of why we saw McLaurin not really have great opportunities to produce here. Daniel still had a decent game. At least it wasn't like a total flop,
Right.
but he certainly struggled a lot more than in previous weeks.
Yeah, 100% he did. And I didn't even get to watch the full game. I actually caught the very end of it because I was at a concert Thursday night. So I caught the end of it. And but I mean, watching Saquon run, no answer for him at all. Like, just could not contain him, which is why, and I had Washington defense and, only got the 2 points on that. Like, they just had no answer for stopping Saquon at all. He was on fire Thursday night.
Yeah, he was good. Zach Ertz on Tina's bench had a pretty decent game. He had a couple of nice grabs, had a touchdown, I believe, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
And
And when you look at the other side here, so let's just Shardy McDennis, who is the projected favorite. I mean, he's rolling with Joe Burrow, Kevin Ridley, Deebo Samuel, DK Metcalf, Bijan Robinson, and Brian Robinson. That's funny. He's got the two Robinsons. Bijan
Both
Robinson
B
and Brian
Robinsons.
Robinson. Yeah, B Robinsons, who also got him. He played Thursday night. Got him 14.20 points, 63 rushing yards, 1 rushing TD, 1 reception. He's got Will Disley. He's got Aaron Jones going. Drake May. He is one of the guys who is using Drake May, who, has been serviceable in that super flex spot. And of course, he's rolling with New York D. On the other side, Tina's rolling with Kirk Cousins in that super flex spot. We'll say Rams D. Jack Smith Nigba. I just want to talk about him because I have him too, and this is a guy that has been such hit or miss. Jackson Smith Nigba, JSN, just
JSN.
really not as reliable as we all thought. After having a really great season last year, he's been so hot and cold this year, and I am rolling with him in the other league, and I am praying we're gonna have a hot day with him. San Francisco has some banged up secondary right now, so if him and Gino could get on the same page, maybe it could be a good day for both for any owners of
let's hope so.
Yeah.
I think the Seattle offense on in the passing game has definitely been inconsistent all season. Like we haven't really seen a lot of back-to-back weeks that were strong from either one of the receivers, not Metcalf, not JSN, not Tyler Lockett. So they've been on and off, hot and cold. Even Gino has had some games where he was okay and some that were not so okay.
Yeah.
So maybe this is a week, like you said, in San Fran, they're going to probably be playing from behind. They're going to have to throw the ball. So maybe this is the week that, JSN pops and gives you a nice fantasy production.
Which would be really nice. It'd be nice because, I need it. And, of course, I'm sure Tina would be happy with it as well.
For sure.
For sure. All
so
right. And then
on the other side of the ball here on Charlie McDennis's team.
Yep. And I also like, too, Tina's got, we'll move on here in a bit, but, rolling with Derrick Henry and Joe Mixon, I think that's a great running back lineup. So, listen, right now, Shardy is like I said, he's sitting at 5-5, fifth spot, looking, I mean, if playoffs for tomorrow, he'd be in. But he's a projected winner right now with Tina sitting at 8-2 in first place. So a loss would not knock her out. She could sustain a loss, but she would have to keep winning if she wanted to stay in first place for sure. But she could sustain a loss. But I got to tell you, it's tough. I wish she had gotten more production out of Daniels and McLaurin. I think it would have helped her cause. So, but the thing is, she still has some good firepower. But when I look on the other side, I just feel like this could be Shardy McDennis's week. So I am going to pick Shardy McDennis in this matchup. Sorry, Tina. I know it's your birthday. I don't mean to pick against you on your birthday, but I'm just going with the facts here.
The objective pick is Shardy McDennis. All right, not a bad pick. I just want to highlight these two teams actually are the teams that lead the league in points, and we do have a prize for the team that ends the regular season, with the most amount of points in their favor. It's a close race between these two. I'm actually going to pick the birthday girls team. I'm going to go with Ditka's team to come out with the win here. I think she'll exceed the projection by quite a bit on the back of Derrick Henry and Joe Mixon.
All right. Very good. So there you go. There it is, the official pick for this one. So you are going with the birthday girl on this one, and I have chosen the other side.
Very good.
Excellent. All right, let's keep it moving, guys. Moving on to our next matchup. Let's look at CD's Nuts versus It Takes Two at a Tango. And right now, our last place team, sitting at 1-9, is the projected winner over Matt Dunn, who I completely eviscerated last week. Completely threw a beatdown on. Sitting at 5-5 in the 8th spot. He needs to keep winning here. He can only sustain so many more losses. But right now, It Takes Two at a Tango projected at 149.87 to Dunn's 123.66. And we're looking right away at the QB matchup here. We got Aaron Rodgers versus Tua. And Garrett Wilson versus Zay Flowers. Jalen Addison versus Tyreek Hill, who, by the way, has said that, I did read this morning, he is not going to get the wrist surgery, and he's going to play through, and he's going to wait till the end of the season to get that wrist surgery.
Yeah, it's interesting to hear that he's coming out and the team saying yes, he's definitely got an injury, and that's probably explains why he hasn't been as explosive as we all expected him to. I mean, at first I attributed it to Tua's not on the field. That's a quarterback downgrade, but even with Tua on the field, he hasn't really been explosive, and this is why.
Yep.
Um,
This is
we
why.
need to
Yeah,
stay optimistic and hope that he can still, stay on the field and keep producing fantasy wise.
yeah, he was cleared off injury. He is playing, but just know that he is trying and he wants to put it off. So he's going to play for as long as he can. And what he told reporters is that he's going to play for as long as he can and put off that surgery until the end of the season. But I guess we'll see because wrists are tough, man. And being a receiver, you got to have a good wrist. So yeah, this is exactly why. So all Tyreek Hill owners, beware, because it could all come to an end very fast. So make sure you
Yeah,
have Jalen Waddle in your lineup.
fingers crossed. I would say stay positive, and
Stay positive.
listen, the trade deadline is not here yet. So if you want to make a
Right.
move for Tyreek Hill or to trade Tyreek Hill away, now's the time. It's now before it's too late.
That's right. That's right. So wise words from the football sage, Mr. Pablo Martinez here. So, all right, looking down real quick. Anything else stand out about this lineup for you? This matchup here, Pablo.
No, I think these two teams are really well balanced.
Yeah, I like
Tua
it.
right now is favored in the projections to win, and still has a chance to make the playoffs. He needs to win all 4 games and then hope for some results to come in his favor
Needs
for
to
other
win out.
teams as well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
needs to win out.
CD's nuts had a great start to the season, but now is 5-5. So he's sitting in 8th place, but with a decent chance to still stay within the playoff teams.
In the hunt.
Yeah, in the hunt. As far as the lineups go, I'm not tremendously excited to see Justice Hill, only because I think that Derrick Henry is for sure taking everything in Baltimore, and
Yeah.
Justice Hill gets an opportunity here and there, but is very dependent on how much of a break Baltimore wants to give Henry. So he could certainly have a boom game at any time, but they're going into Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh is going to have a lot of competition for Baltimore, and I don't imagine this being a game where Justice Hill would really be extremely productive, but he's as good as bet as any player.
Yeah.
There might not be many other options.
What I might recommend, if I can make a recommendation here, looking at the lineup, is I would probably think about benching Justice Hill, moving Travis Etienne up, considering Bigsby's out, not playing. They didn't list him out, but he's doubtful, not playing. So that means Etienne will get the lion's share of handoffs, and I would probably move Bateman up into that flex spot.
Yeah, that's a great move. Actually, I think that would be smart.
If I'm going to give any advice.
Sure. I mean, it's anyone's call. I'm sure Dunn's mulling this over and trying to make the best decision for him. But that's some sound advice. Yeah, I think that wouldn't be a bad move.
Also, anyway, Dunn, wouldn't it be bad for you to start because we still in this league we have another week to make trades. So Dunn, you could still get another running back out there. For fielding some trade offers, my friend.
Absolutely. Never stop trying.
Yeah, never stop trying. All right.
He's got a third quarterback on his team, so maybe we were just talking about the quarterback needs. Maybe that's the opportunity you have to trade something. But all right. So looking at picks here, I think the projection is pretty solid for a reason. So I'm gonna go with Tua Tango's team. Though
okay.
I think the 1-9 team is gonna get another win this week.
Yeah, you know what? I'm inclined to do it too, and I know Dunn will probably make some moves here, and that'll help his chances, I think. But I still like Tua Tango's chances. I like the firepower. I know we were talking about this with Tyreek Hill, but I mean they're playing Vegas, who's awful, and Miami should have a great day against Vegas. So I like what I'm seeing. So yeah, I am gonna go with takes Tua Tango as well.
Very good.
That is my pick. All right, so let's move on to our other matchup here. The name is Dalton. Also, another 5-5 team sitting at 7th place. Only one spot out of the playoffs, really. So a win here could really impact Dalton's season right now. And versus Los Chupacabras, who's sitting at 4-6 in the 9th spot. Wayne's team, who showed so much promise at the start of the season and has really kind of, been in a little bit of a purgatory as of now. Losing in some cases only by 1 point. He's luck has not gone his way in some of these matchups. But this week, looking at the lineups, I mean, this could be Lil Chupacabra getting back onto some winning ways. I mean, what do you think here, Pablo? Looking at this lineup.
Well, I think that Los Chupacabras definitely has a great team with Lamar Jackson. I'm surprised that he's been struggling as much as he has.
Yeah,
His team is really strong, actually.
he does
But
have a very strong team.
yeah, but well, needless to say, this is going to be a difficult matchup for him. I think the name is Dalton has been working hard and putting a strong team together. He finally has Nico Collins off the injury report and back in his starting lineup. So that'll certainly be a boost for his team.
Big boost.
He's rolling with Pearsall, the rookie wide receiver, Ricky Pearsall, out of San Francisco. And I'm sure he's hoping he'll have a decent week this week as well.
Yep.
Jerome Ford in the running back slot, and the newly acquired Will Levis on his super flex.
Yeah, and I also like too. I mean, he's been rolling with Kenneth Walker all week. I mean, all season, and other than the weeks 8 and 9, he's been pretty consistent. I mean, he was out week 2 and week 3, but he's been putting up production, and he's coming off of a bye, so much needed rest time, R&R time for the running back, and that should be because they're going. Seattle is going into San Fran, and San Fran's D is okay. Their secondary is a little banged up, but it'd be gonna be interesting to see. I think he's got some good potential there, though. Kenneth Walker, he's been a great running back all season, so I think that might be able to get some. I mean, he's projected at 15.26 here. I think he could definitely get that and more.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so. I think that you might be right. Now, I was just browsing back at the winning streaks and the losing streaks. Los Chupacabras on a whole month of losses, 4 losses in a row, looking to snap that this week. He's certainly projected to do so, and I think that will be my pick. I think I'm going to choose Los Chupacabras team for the win in this one. But what do you think, Chris?
Yeah, I mean, looking at this, I know Ken's been making trades. He's been doing a lot of offers. He's really trying everything he can to get this team rolling. He's had a lot of injuries, unfortunately, have hurt him. Guys out. Once again, also the benefactor of, guys getting benched. And flip-flopping. I mean, he's a Joe Flacco owner too, so he knows my pain of being a Flacco owner, doing great, then has 2 terrible games, and now he's benched again. But I do like, by the way, I like the future here of looking at Drew Lock. See, we're talking about this, and whether or not Daniel Jones will be starting or not, we don't know, but I like him going after Drew Lock. So that's a nice bench stash there. I would say, I think in this particular matchup, though, considering too how Lamar Jackson's been playing, and I do, Patrick Mahomes on the super flex spot too in Buffalo, gonna be a tough game, but we're talking about the D-Hop factor. I think Los Chupacabras is gonna pull one out here.
Yeah.
So I am also gonna go with Los Chupacabras on this one.
All right, let's see. This is definitely going to be a tight one with 2 teams that are really, really close and playing for everything close right now, looking to not be left out of those top 6 playoff spots.
Yeah, absolutely. So they are. I know these guys are all making moves, and we'll see. This should be a fun one to watch throughout the weekend. But yeah, so our picks for this one are definitely Los Chupacabras to be the benefactor of a win on this matchup. So real quick, I just want to remind everybody right now, thank you again for watching or listening to us over on Radio Garden State, which you can also check out on the TuneIn app if you're in the car, or also on any Alexa device. And of course, if you are watching on Facebook or YouTube, please feel free to ask us if you got any questions, fantasy advice, whatever. We're happy to be here. And of course, if you want to call in, you can call us at 862-243-2064. That's 862-243-2064. And for anybody who is interested, you can follow both of these leagues on Yahoo Fantasy. If you want to follow along with everything we've been talking about here, you absolutely can. Both these leagues are set to public, so we'd love to hear your feedback and what you guys think on who's going to win in these matchups as well. So, all right, moving on. We did talk about Charlie McDennis and Suck My Dicka, so we're going to go with your team, man. All out of love. sitting
All
at
right.
number 11, 4-6 though, right? Because we were talking about how wild this is. So you're 4-6, man. You still 100% very much alive in this league versus Pablo McPablo face, who I made a trade with this week, sitting at 5-5 at sixth place. This is just how wild this league has been this year, this season with these close standings and basically everybody still being very much. And even you said too. I mean, even with Jerry's team, like yeah, he's sitting at 1-9, but you know what? Put some wins together, went out, and with some luck, he could be sitting in the playoffs. So that's how
It
wild
can
the
happen.
season's been. It can definitely
It
happen.
can
So
happen.
you, my friend, were the benefactor of having Jalen Hurts run on Thursday night and 221 passing yards, one rushing touchdown, 18 completions, getting you 23.24 points, and AJ Brown. So you got the nice little Philly stack there, 65 yards, 5 receptions, getting you 11.50 points. Really bringing you guys very close in your projections. You're at 145.16, and Pablo McPablo faces 148.61. Close matchup here.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that Thursday night game was for fantasy
Yeah.
production, but that's okay. It's still not bad, and still gives us a great chance to compete here this week
Yeah.
on both sides, because now it's leveled a little bit of the projection. So let's see. Let's take a dive here and look through. Let's look through both of these teams.
Mm-hmm.
We were talking about a lot of quarterback play, and Pablo McPalifes here, Josh's team. He's rolling with one quarterback this week in his starting lineup. Has Jerry Jeudy in his super flex spot. He had recently acquired the two quarterbacks from Carolina, but
Yep. For
Carolina's on a
me.
bye this week.
Yep. Yeah. And
And
I traded for Jameis Winston because I desperately needed a quarterback because I had no quarterback. So I traded away the two Carolina quarterbacks because once again, as we were talking, running theme here, you got it with some of these teams, man. Like especially in Carolina, you don't know who's going to start week to week, so you gotta carry them both.
yeah, for sure. But even despite just starting one quarterback, I think his team is really really good. Solid
Yeah,
projection on his side. He's got great
Justin
players
Jefferson.
that I'm hoping. Yeah, Justin Jefferson. I mean, he's got Alvin Kamara, who's
Mm-hmm.
had a great start to the season. Maybe not so much in recent weeks, but did very very well. Jonathan Taylor, Chase Brown in Cincinnati has
Yeah,
definitely stepped up now that Zach Moss has been put on IR for the rest of the season. He's definitely the back to own there, and he's been showing off. He's been doing great.
yeah, really.
So
He's been very good.
yeah, I do think Josh's team is certainly a contender, not only
Mm-hmm.
for this week but for the rest of the season. He's currently sitting in sixth place, and he's probably going to add more wins to his record. I just hope it's not this week.
Right.
But let's see. Looking through the rest of my lineup here, I have Anthony Richardson as my super
Yep.
flex quarterback right here, and I just picked him up this week after I heard the news that he would get the start.
Yep.
I'm not necessarily sure what to do as far as leaving him in my lineup, but my options weren't too great either. I had Cooper Rush, who gave me a terrible production last
Yeah,
week.
did not do well, and of course, Gardner Minshew getting the start over Desmond Ritter this week. So you got that there, and he's been, I mean,
And
yeah,
with sorry, I didn't want to cut you off, but with
no, go ahead,
Minshew,
go ahead.
like you said earlier, Ritter was announced the starter on Tuesday,
Yeah,
and now he's not. Now Minshew's starting, but what's the guarantee that Minshew will play the whole game? Like he might get
which
pulled in the
right,
third quarter.
which stinks because I am stuck in the other league just playing Minshew. He's the only quarterback I have, and I'm like, I could be very screwed very fast, and just it might as well have no quarterback. Like it's. I got some desperate times in the other league, which we'll get to. But yeah, I mean, you don't know is he gonna finish the game, and therefore you might as well just get a goose egg in that spot.
Yeah. I certainly am still considering Minshew only because I don't know if Richardson, coming off of a couple weeks of inactivity, playing in New Jersey against the New York Jets, is going to be my best bet. But that's really where I have the
Yeah,
most amount of question marks on my starting roster.
yeah,
As far as the rest of the team goes, I feel pretty confident, but I guess we'll see. We'll hope that tomorrow brings a lot of fantasy production throughout all the football
Yep.
games. And
All
I
right.
wish Josh the best of luck.
Yeah, absolutely. So looking at this lineup, my friend, you know what? Josh has got firepower, but you are, Puka. I like what I'm seeing. Dave Montgomery, a big game last week, and poised to have another big game against Jacksonville this week. You got a nice stack here. Achane, Evan Ingram, is pretty much the biggest weapon they have now, other than ETN in Jacksonville. So I like it, man. I'm gonna pick your team. I think you're gonna rise above it.
All right, that sounds great. I'm going to pick my team as well, and we'll see how it goes. But
Yep.
I certainly have a lot of hesitation to confirm. Yeah, I'm definitely going to win this one. This is going to
Yeah.
be a very difficult one. I hope
It's gonna be a
it
tough
works
one.
out for me at the end. Yeah, but we'll see.
Yeah, it's gonna be a tough one. All right, so in our last matchup in this league, Keith's cool team, who's sitting in second place at 7-3, and Manja Magic sitting at 4-6 in 10th place, still very much alive. Keith's cool team currently the projected winner at 154.94 versus 135.52 for Manja Magic. Right away, what stands out to me is the quarterback matchups: C.J. Stroud versus Josh Allen. Josh Allen playing KC. Gonna be a good game. Should be a good game. Good rivalry there between the two AFC teams who are basically sitting like on top. Is this the week KC gets their first loss? First of all, just talking, is KC winning this game? Is the undefeated streak
Well, it's going to be
getting?
tough for yeah. I think it's going to be really tough for them to stay undefeated while going into Buffalo. If they do, that's a big statement that they're making in the AFC. And
Yeah,
they already made a big statement because hey, they're the Super Bowl champs. They're the only undefeated team, so they
yeah,
certainly have a lot going in their favor. But this is one of those games. This is one of those weeks where now they have to prove how good they really are. Even I guess if they lose, they don't really lose that much. It's just one
right.
game in the season. But this is going to be a true test of where these two teams stand today.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it should, and that will be a good game to watch. I'm actually glad they didn't flex that and put it on like nighttime or something. Like 4:25, great. Should be a really good football game to watch in that time spot. But I got a feeling. I mean, I think Josh Allen is going to be slinging. I think we're going to see a quarterback clinic from both teams. It's what I project. So I think Josh Allen's got could be putting up good points. It's just going to be, is he going to start getting into hero mode and start throwing wild and doing picks? And that's the one thing that you got to watch out with him. CJ Stroud playing in Dallas should be a bounce back game for Houston and CJ Stroud, who's not been great this season, not what was last season. But Nico Collins coming back this week, right? Is that is
Yes,
official, right? I thought I saw him.
that
So
is
with that
official.
happening, that should hopefully really help CJ Stroud's chances of having a good game and going into Dallas. That is just a beaten down Dallas team.
Yeah, I think this should certainly help Stroud. I'm sure that we'll probably see more coming out of Houston than we've seen in previous weeks. And yeah, they have a good opportunity to bounce back against the Dallas team that hasn't really been able to stop opponents from scoring. I don't anticipate they're going to have a problem with sunlight on a Monday night game, so it should be okay
No,
there at AT&T Stadium. Um,
the sun was in my eyes. Although that was pretty. That is. I mean, when they showed it that camera, I'm like, that is pretty bad. That
it
is
looked
not good.
terrible. Yeah, it certainly
It
did.
looked terrible. I mean, I
Yeah,
could definitely see that being a very real thing. That just being like, I can't see the ball. I get that. But
yeah.
still funny because it's, of course, Dallas. But I'm fine. It couldn't have happened to a better team. And but I was looking down. We were talking about D Hop before. D Hop also in this lineup here on Keith's cool team. Karen Williams, got Kareem Hunt, who's been having a great resurgence as far as coming back again. A name that we probably didn't think we were going to hear much of again, but here he is. And of course, we got to talk about Keith's cool team having CMC in the lineup again. So second week of having CMC action back. Gotta be happy to see that happen and see that guy back in playing. Especially, I'm sure he
Yeah,
was
yeah.
obviously everybody's number one draft pick, uh, and got to see what kind of damage he's going to keep going, and that's something that is going to be helping him a lot. One last thing I did want to call out here was just a quarterback lineup: the Jared Goff versus Herbert, Justin Herbert, and I like Manja rolling with Jared Goff because I think that once again Detroit going into Jacksonville, they should destroy unless they just ride on David Montgomery again, which could also happen. But they should destroy pretty handily.
They should. Yeah, I think the one worry that I would have if I were is that if they put the game away early, then maybe that second half is a game where you're not going to see a lot of passing production
No.
from Detroit. But let's see. I mean, maybe we get surprised. Maybe Jacksonville brings something that we weren't anticipating.
Yeah.
It should be a good game though, and for fantasy purposes, I'm excited to see which of these Detroit players has a great game. I'm sure somebody will. Maybe we'll see 2 or 3 of them put up decent points.
Which would be nice. It would be nice to see that, and I think it would be a pretty good. I think it's gonna be. I mean, if you're a Detroit owner, you should be pretty excited about this matchup. If you have anybody on Detroit, anybody from Detroit offense, you should be
Yeah.
excited.
Yeah, for sure. So our projections currently have Mancha Magic 20 points as the underdog.
Hmm.
What do you think is going to happen throughout this week? Which of these 2 teams
Yeah.
are you going to be picking as your winner for this week?
So I am gonna go with Keith's cool team. I think it's the right pick in this case. As much as I love Manja Magic, I love that Manja Magic. I feel like Keith's cool team is gonna be a little too hard to overcome this week.
Yeah, yeah. I think you're right. I'm going to pick the same. I'm going to pick
Okay.
Keith's school team. And, good luck to both of these teams. But, yeah, certainly great players to watch on both sides. So, yeah, we'll see more. We'll see more come out of these players throughout the weeks. Kareem Hunt, when we were talking about him earlier, I think Kareem Hunt has been fantastic. But with Isaiah Pacheco coming back to practice this week, I really wonder what's going to happen with that running back game. Is Kareem Hunt going to stay in the mix? I think he's earned it. He probably will at least have
Definitely
some type of
earned
role.
it. I mean, if they just start splitting it, and I mean, is he going to be a third down guy, or is he going to be a goal line? Is he going to be vulturing touchdowns? So, it should be interesting to see how they use him. If you've got, I mean, listen, you got 2 very capable running backs. It's just where are they going to use him in situations?
Yeah,
And is
Detroit does well with 2 capable running backs. So I hope Andy
They
Reid
do.
can find a way to keep Hunt in the mix there.
I think they would be smart to do it, and I think it would definitely help their season. As much as everybody hates Kansas City and wants to see them lose, I mean they're just finding ways to win. That's what good teams do. So, regardless if you feel like they're getting help from the refs or not, good teams always find a way to win the game. So once again, guys, all right. So that wraps up our LOEMP League picks. Let's review really quick, just so for those of you keeping track at home. Care. So in this last matchup, we had Keith's cool team versus Manja Magic. We had both chosen Keith's cool team. In All Out of Love versus Pablo and Pablo Face, I have chosen Pablo's team, All Out of Love, and so has Pablo chosen his team. In the Shardy McDennis versus Suck My Dicka matchup, Birthday Girl, you have gone with Suck My Dicka, and I did pick Shardy McDennis. I just feel like it may be his week to take on current first place holder, Suck My Dicka, Tina, but still happy birthday, Tina. We love you. And we've also got in the name is Dalton versus Los Chupacabras matchup. We have both gone with Los Chupacabras. In the CD's Nuts versus It Takes Tua to Tango, we have both gone with Jerry's team. It Takes Tua to Tango, who's sitting at 1-9 in last place. We feel like this is his week, and this could be the time when he starts putting together some wins and gets out of that last place spot. And then in our game of the week, the Brothers Bowl, Yoda Best Team versus Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. I have chosen my team, Yoda Best Team, sitting in third place at 6-4. My brother is sitting at 6-4 at fourth. and Pablo has chosen Mighty Morphin Bauer Rangers. So there you have it for that league. We love you too, Tina. She's chiming in over on our chat. We are going to move on to our Dirt League next and do those picks. But before we do, we're just going to take a super quick break. For those of you listening on Radio Garden State, you're going to hear these ads. For those of you on streaming, you probably won't. But give us 60 seconds, and we will be right back. All right, and we are back. Thanks, everybody. And of course, you can listen on RadioGardenState.com right now, especially if you're out and about, you're traveling around, and maybe you're not in front of Facebook or YouTube, or you got to go out. So check out Radio Garden State over on RadioGardenState.com. You can also listen on the TuneIn app, which is perfect for the car. Works on any Android device as well as Apple CarPlay, and you can also check out Radio Garden State on any Alexa device. All right, Pablo, let's get into it. In our last 30 minutes here, let's rip through the Dirt League and see what our matchups are in that one. And first off, were there any trades that happened in the Dirt League? Oh, and just so once again, for if anybody's tuning in, the Dirt Invitational League is the league that Pablo and I are both in, and that is a half PPR league, 12 team half PPR league.
That is correct. Superflex 12 team half PPR. No trades have happened this week. Today is the last day to make trades in this league. So if you've got them, start making those trade offers, and make sure you get that in before the end of today if you want that to happen. We've got one team who clinched a playoff spot. No surprise.
No surprise.
The undefeated 10-0 Bodie McBoatface. Congrats.
10-0
has clinched the playoff spot. We all saw this coming, right? This was just a matter of time before that playoff spot was clinched, but it's official now. It's in the books. There are 5 more playoff spots up for grabs, and many, many teams that are going to be in the hunt to try to secure one of those top 6 playoff spots.
Yeah, absolutely. And you and I, my friend, we are sitting in the number 3 and number 4 spots respectively in the top 6 here. And Moose Knuckles sitting at number 2. John, check your trades, check trade offers. And Shark Bait sitting in number 6. And then when we look down the rest really quick, we got Sicilians at 7, Manja at 8, BMF at 9, Primo de los Matador at 10, Show Me Your TDs at 11, and Ginger Ninja sitting at number 12, 2-8, who did put together another win. So now, of course, just to recap, guys, in this league, we do have a trophy for last place winner. We have the toilet bowl, and you get a poop trophy. If you are last place, you have to proudly display the poop trophy for all to see. Here is a quick picture of last year's winner of the poop trophy, and it's proud displayed for all the world to see for the entire season. So you don't want to be displaying this in your home. So there is stuff at stake.
There certainly is, and you know what? I think that what I was thinking to propose for this week, since we haven't heard from the champ on a game of the week, and the touchdown talk has been the number one assistant in helping select that game of the week. There's a game this week that is crucial, and it's crucial because of this trophy that you were just talking about.
Yeah,
we have the number 12 team going against the number 11 team. And the one reason I wanted to bring this up was because in this consolation bracket that we have, the 11th and 12th team get a bye, which means that they don't get the opportunity to to play in that first playoff week,
Yeah.
which would give them a chance to win and automatically get out of that
Right.
race for the trophy that nobody wants.
Right.
So even though those two teams are at the bottom of the standings with a record of 2-8, and the real playoffs for the championship seem so far away, this game is huge. This game
Yeah.
is really important so that they can try to get out of that bye and just try to not get that trophy that we were just talking about.
Yeah, so definitely a lot at stake for this one. And by the way, guys, once again, this is another league where it's kind of close. We got 6-2, 6-4 teams, a 5-5, 2, 4-6, 2, 3-7 teams. So, in the bottom two are 2-8. So there's still some hope mathematically,
Yeah,
to actually get in the playoffs. Yeah,
yeah, we have 4
there's
weeks
some
left,
hope.
so there certainly is. Yeah.
There certainly is. So, all right. So let's look at that matchup, Pablo. So our game of the week, the official Touchdown Talk game of the week in the Dirt Invitational is going to be Ginger Ninja versus Show Me Your TDs. Number 12 versus number 11. And look at these projections, Pablo. Ginger Ninja already striking with 16 points on the board from Thursday night, but the projections are 132.15 to 135.48. Wow. So not only is this a crucial game, but it's really anybody's game at this point, according to these projections.
It is very close, very close. Let's look through these lineups and see what kind of strong points we find, see what kind of surprises we come across. I'm looking, and I don't really see any empty spots, no holes, nobody on a bye.
Nope. I mean, the things that stand out for me in Ginger Ninja's favor is right away I do see the D-Hop pick up there, Deebo Samuel, Jonathan Taylor, Josh Jacobs. She did have Jalen Hurts in her super flex, so she got 16 points there. That helped. That's where the 16 points came from. But on the other side, super flex, Joe Burrow going into LA, going to Chargers on Sunday night. That's got some potential. And also, I do want to point out that Show Me Your TDs is a CMC owner. Also, somebody else who's happy to see CMC back in action here. And that could be a really big help for sure. I also see Ramondre Stevenson, Calvin Ridley been having a pretty decent season. So there are some good spots on both sides. I see a very evenly balanced team on both ends of the both ends here on this matchup.
I do. I know we've talked about several of these players already.
Yep.
But this is very close. It's difficult to really pick an easy favorite, and I think the projections speak to that for a reason. Mm-hmm. On Ginger Ninja's team, I do think that the fact that she's got some players on her bench that are projected so high,
right,
speak of a lot of the options that she has. The wide receivers that she's keeping on her bench right now mean that she's got Nuke Hopkins, she's got Deebo Samuel, she's starting Ladd McConkey in Los Angeles because she also has Justin Herbert, so she's trying to keep that Chargers stack on her side. She's got a really, really nice team here, and it's super close, razor thin, but I think I'm going to go with the Ninja for the win on this one.
And I do want to point out one quick thing here before I give my determination, is that she does have Amari Cooper on her bench, and Amari Cooper, according to today, is trending to play.
Okay.
Trending to play in Buffalo. And as we know, that's probably going to be a sling fest. And, Keon Coleman is out still. Amari Cooper, making Amari Cooper, I mean, they still have weapons, but, anytime Amari Cooper's on the field is a guy that you got to worry about if you're playing him. And if you have him on your team, definitely something to look at. So as of today, Ian Rappaport is saying it's not officially listed, but they are not certain, but he definitely thinks that he could be playing. So he's optimistic. So something to watch. And so that could also be something, whether Ginger Ninja makes a move here at the last second to throw him in. It'll be interesting to see if that happens, which I think would if he is playing, I think that you got to start him. That's just my opinion. I mean, I think you got to start him. He's a threat on the field. So with all that being said, I am also picking Ginger Ninja in this matchup as well. I think that she is starting a run to get out of the spot, that she's in, which is last place, and I'm here for it. And so we've picked her now the last couple weeks, and she has won the last. I think she's put together 2 wins in the last couple weeks. I think is that
Yes,
correct?
she
Yeah.
was winless 2 weeks ago. Yeah,
Yeah.
so I
So
think she'll
there you go.
continue to build up on that. Her third.
There you go. I love it. So that was our game of the week, which is, as Pablo said, heavy implications here for toilet bowl contention. So let's go to the matchup right underneath it. I think that would be good when we're looking at this because another very very close matchup. Number 7 versus number 6. This is also a very important matchup when we think about getting to playoff contention. Right now, the Sicilians, Tina's team, sitting in 7th spot at 4-6. Sharkbait sitting at 5-5. Daniel's team. Right now, Daniel is in the playoffs if that was to happen, but a win here by Tina could do a nice, could be the win that she needs to get herself right into playoff contention. Very important win for her to pick up this week. And as the projections are right now, very close. 123.96 to 124.27. And Tina already on the board with Jalen Daniels in this league as well, with 12.50 points. She did pick up 27 and a half points this week, starting Jalen Daniels and Zach Ertz with 15 points and a tight end.
Yeah.
Wow.
Tina, the tight end whisperer. She knows how to pick them.
Always. Unfortunately, the other side, Sharkbait, he had time. McLaughlin.
Sarah McLaurin.
Thank you. I can't speak. Only getting 1.50 points. Not good. So that's a wasted spot, unfortunately, for a wide receiver position on the other side. So, Pablo, what is this? This is a close matchup, man. This is going to be a tough one to pick. But what stands out to you right away, other than what we're seeing from the points already scored?
Super close. I think this is a really, really great matchup that's going to have a lot of implications for our league because, like you said, the 6th and 7th team, they're battling for everything here, and they're really only one game apart. So it's really actually an exciting one to follow. Last week where we play against the team that we haven't played yet. Next week we start these rematches, so to say. So these two teams haven't seen each other yet. They're very, very close. It's a very, very balanced game. Justice Hill again in Tina's lineup. I talked about him earlier.
Yep.
Not necessarily a guy that I would be thrilled about, but sometimes this is
that's what you gotta do.
With the options that we have. Tina does have one linebacker in her starting lineup who is on a bye, so that's an opportunity to upgrade to a different player that'll give you a better projection. So I just wanted to point that out, call that out now, and hope that we see that updated ahead of tomorrow. But it'll be really close. I think this is going to be it's tough to call, but I'm going to say Tina's going on a 3-game losing streak that ends this week.
Right.
And she comes out with a win for the Sicilians in week 11.
All right. There you go. And looking at this lineup, I think I got to agree with you on this. I mean, this is going to be super, super close, but I feel like the football gods are in Tina's favor because it's her birthday weekend. So in this matchup in particular, I'm also going to go with the Sicilians.
There we go. We're in agreement.
So, yeah, this is going to be a tough one. It's going to be a fun one to watch throughout the weekend. So, yeah, Tina, good luck to you for sure. Good luck to both teams
as well. Yeah,
yeah,
absolutely.
Because it is a big matchup there. So all right, so that was the one right underneath our game of the week. So let's start from the top. Brother Bowl number 2, Killer Beers and Swift Kick of Love. That's my team, Killer Beers, versus my brother's team, Swift Kick of Love. This is what I was talking about earlier in the show. I am kind of screwed this week. I do have some trade offers out, so we'll see if anything can happen in the timeline here. Tina, I may be making a trade offer coming your way if I don't hear from somebody because there's a deadline approaching. But I am a little screwed on quarterback play, and this is where I am most scared because of what we were talking about. I am only stuck right now with Gardner Minshew as my starting quarterback, and God knows if he's even going to finish the whole game. And I had originally went and picked up Desmond Ridder on this one, I think, or no, I didn't. I'm sorry. I take that back as the other league, but I have Trevor Lawrence. He's out. Joe Flacco not playing. Originally was in my lineup. and Bryce Young also on bye week, and Baker Mayfield on a
Eh,
bye week. So
yeah,
I am up
crazy.
poop creek right now.
Yeah, insane how that just stacked up against you in the quarterback situation. But one thing I want to highlight and point out is that these two brothers are starting players that are not quarterbacks in their super flex spot. So this is really affecting both of you in a way. Maybe yours looked a little more stacked there against you, but
Yeah.
yeah, the quarterback challenge is real. And Kevin's starting T. Higgins in his super flex because he's only rolling out Jordan Love this week with Kyler Murray on a bye.
Yep. Yeah. So I mean, there's a lot on both sides going. I'm also going with JSN in my super flex spot. I do feel like he's gonna have a decent night, but is it gonna be enough? I don't know. The Montgomery thing scares me on the other side. My brother's starting to, and he's had a great, and he's going in a very favorable matchup. I am rolling with two tight ends though, Evan Ingram and Brock Bowers, who have both been big targets on both those sides. So I'm hoping I can make up some good points there. And of course, Jamar Chase. Am I getting it? I probably won't see another big night out of Jamar Chase like I saw last week, but man, it'd be great to have another big night out of Jamar Chase for sure in LA. So that would be something that I would really enjoy because I just don't know what Uncle Rico is going to do for me. So listen, guys, in this matchup, of course, I'm going to pick myself, even though the odds are very much against me right now. But the projections aren't too bad. I gotta be honest with you. The projections in this are not crazy. I'm at 121. He's at 136. And even before Thursday night, while I was at 121, he was at 130. So I am sitting in the fourth spot, and he is sitting in the fifth spot. Obviously, crucial for us to keep winning to stay in those playoff contention spots, to hold our spots. But I am scared. I am nervous. I'm gonna try to make some stuff happen in the 11th hour here for trades. We'll see. But I am going to pick myself just because I can't go against myself. I mean, why? Who would do that?
No, I totally understand. It's funny. You both have the same record here,
Yeah.
and you both had the same record in the LOEMP league, and it's the same record. You're
Crazy.
both 6-4 in both leagues, playing against each other in both leagues. So many coincidences. But
Crazy.
all right. So for the sake of picks here, I am going to go with a swift kick of love. I do want to
Yeah.
point out Kevin, who I'm sure is very much on top of his roster, has an empty spot in his defensive lineman area. One of his IDPs is empty. I'm sure
Yep.
he's picking somebody up and still has time ahead of tomorrow to do that, even into
Yep.
Monday night. But yeah, despite this being close, I think you, my friend with the killer beers, has a great chance to get a win here. But I'm gonna choose a swift kick of love for the sake of picks.
All right. So there you go. There you got it. So a swift quick of love by you, and of course picking my own team, the Killer Beers. All right, let's move on, guys. In your matchup, my friend, you've got a great matchup this week. You're in 7-3 right now in this league. Uruguay, your team Uruguay versus Primo de los Matador, who's sitting in 10th at 3-7. And as we were talking about, this is an important game for Mikey. I mean, it's an important game for you too, my friend, because you want to keep in that top spot. You want to keep your winning ways up. But Mikey needs to win here because if we got the other two teams going and Ginger Ninja on a hot streak, you don't want to be flip flopping and now you being in contention for the poop trophy. So he got to keep his winning ways up
absolutely. He does. He does. I'm actually just taking a peek back at the standings once again, and he's currently 2 games out of 6th place. So with 4 weeks left, there's still a realistic chance that he could make the playoffs.
Yeah.
And he's got to give it everything he's got, and I'm sure he will. I'm sure Mikey's fighting tooth and nail here to get those wins. But the projections currently have him listed at 118. He's certainly going to need a lot of help. He's going to need, I think the key for Mikey's team, for Primo de los Matador, is going to be to see if Chicago can finally snap out of it and get back into a winning streak with DJ Moore, who is his Chicago Bears stack that have given him really good fantasy production early in the season, but not so much after they came out of the bye. They've had 3 weeks where they haven't really been able to do much. If anything, lost all 3 games. This week they're playing against Green Bay at home. It is divisional. It will be a big battle, and I think that will play a huge role in Mikey's expectations to get a win against Uruguay this week 11.
Yeah, I agree with a lot of the same assessments that you've made here, and I think the big thing, just looking at the quarterback lineup here, I think a little lopsided. Um, is the Josh Allen versus Jared Goff in year. But then again, we did talk about Jared Goff has a potential for having an explosive game playing Jacksonville. But if they blow him out too early, it could just be going to the run. And they may even, if they're really ahead, would they even bench him and just say, he gets to hang out and just, chillax? And that would not be good for you.
No, that would not be good for me. And I got the stack there with AJ with Amon-Ra St. Brown too. So I do hope that they get it going early against
Yeah.
Jacksonville, because I think that if they don't and the game gets put out of hand, they're just
Yeah.
maybe not going to be needing to pass the ball that much. Lean
Yeah.
on that run
Yeah.
game more. So we'll see. We'll see
Yeah.
how
We'll
it goes. The
see.
projections, I think, because of that on my end, the projections are a little maybe they're blown up a little more
They are.
than I think they really are. Yeah, I think there's a lot more risk than what these projections currently say for my team. So we'll see how it goes. I do like my team. I think that I have a strong team.
I do
So
like
I
your
will
team
be.
too.
Yeah, thank you. I will be picking Uruguay for the win in this matchup. But best of luck to you, Mikey, with Prima de los Matador this week.
Yeah, I will also be picking your team as well. I just feel like you might have too much firepower for Mikey to overcome this week. But listen, anything can happen. Anything can happen. And and I do like Shakir. He's got a nice stack with Josh Allen and Shakir. And if even if Amari Cooper comes back, Shakir's still been a hot target for Josh Allen. So I may cut in a little bit, but I don't think that much. But I like it. And I also like the Rico Dowell play because Cooper Rush hasn't been awesome. He did not have a good game last week, so maybe they're going to lean on that run game a little bit. He is the lead back as of Thursday. They are saying he's the lead back there, and so maybe he'll see a lot more action this week than he has previous weeks, especially last week.
I think that it took them too long to come up
agree.
with this. Like, he's the best back that they have, so
He is.
why bother with Zeke or Dalvin Cook? I mean,
yeah. I mean, no, you're talking about two guys who were great and are just not anymore. And so go put it in Rico. Yeah, they're past and they had their time. Put it in Rico Dowell's hands a bit. Let him shine. So anyway, with all that being said, yeah, I am for also your team as well, Uruguay on that one. So. All right, guys, in the last couple 10 minutes here, we're going to rip through these. We have two more matchups to go through. So Moose Knuckles versus Bodie McBoatface. They are clinched. I mean, at this point, Pam's clinched her playoff spot. She's sitting in first place, undefeated. John Moose Knuckles sitting at 8-2 at second place. I mean, and looking at the standings, or looking at the projections, sorry, John is slated to win, or projected to win, 147-11 to 134-81. Pam already had someone go in her lineup from Philly. She had Devontae Smith go. Only 4 points there, 4 receiving, four receptions, 29 yards. Not good for Devontae Smith. But, I mean, does Pam really need to worry about anything right now? I mean, she's clinched. She's done defeated. Other than protecting her undefeated streak, which could come to an end this week. But how many times have we said this?
Right. At this point, I'm not betting against it anymore. I actually was talking to John earlier in the week. I was looking back at his schedule throughout the season. His first 4 games, he went 3-1, lost the third game. His second 4 games, he went 3-1, lost the third game. In this third set of 4 games, he won his first 2 weeks. This is the third game.
Okay.
So I think that the numbers speak for themselves. I think Moose Knuckles loses this week because that's the pattern that has been happening throughout the season. And I think Bodie wins again because that is the pattern that has been happening throughout the season. So my pick will be Bodie McBoatface here.
The data and analytics do not lie. They don't lie. I mean, and somehow Bodie has found a way to win each and every week, despite a lot of times being the projected loser. I mean, 10-0, sitting at first place, clinching that first playoff spot. It's tough, man. I want to see someone take a shot here and destroy that streak. But is it going to be this week? Projection wise, it says yes, but data and analytics say no. So, you know what? Just for kicks, I'm gonna buck the trend. Why not?
Okay.
Let's be split on this. Got nothing to lose. I'm gonna go with my man Moose Knuckles on this one, and I think the streak ends. It ends this week.
All right.
That's
Let's see what happens. This is
my
actually,
projection.
it's a big game too because Moose Knuckles is looking to secure a bye spot within the
Yeah.
playoffs. We still have 4 weeks, so there's still a lot to play. But should he continue on his winning streak, he will also be locking in second place or first place maybe even, and give him an opportunity to go directly into the final four. He's currently on a 3-game winning streak, and he obviously wants to continue that. But yeah, this is big. If Moose Knuckles loses, that second bye opportunity will be a very, very heated battle between a bunch of teams that are trying to get in there.
Good point. Very good point. All right, so there you have it on that. I am going with Moose Knuckles. We are split, and Pablo is going with the safe choice, which is Bodie McBoatface.
It hasn't failed yet, right?
Hasn't failed yet. All right, guys. So let's talk about our last matchup here. Manja sitting at 4-8 at 8th spot, and BMF sitting at 3-7 and 9, so 8-9 right now. Manja's team has taken a bit of a beating over the last couple weeks. Right now, the projections are very, very skewed, 107 to 147. So Manja very much the underdog in this matchup. She's wrong with Anthony Richardson as QB. We talked about that ad nauseum with the flip-flopping of Flacco and Richardson. So now it's Richardson in there again. I mean, we're looking at BMF, benefactor of Saquon Barkley's production the other night, 32 points. That's tough. But I will say in good news, though, where it helps for Manja is that ETN is going to be the sole lead back. No splitting stuff with Tank Bigsby as he is not playing. So that does help. I think a bit. And let's see Taysom Hill against Cleveland. Maybe. Do we see any trick plays with Taysom Hill? Do we see any goal line stands with Taysom Hill in that one as he vultures away touchdowns?
We might. I think we saw something like that 2 weeks ago against Carolina. Last week he didn't have the greatest game, but he's always a candidate to put up some sneaky points.
Yeah. So the champ this year not having a great season, but not out at all. 4-6, not out. Definitely very much in the hunt, but needs to win. Needs to keep the winning ways going here. Needs to keep up a win.
Yeah, for sure. This is a make it or break it week, I think. Yeah, she's definitely struggled tremendously with quarterback play.
Yeah, quarterback play has not been kind to her at all this year, unfortunately. And the one thing too is she does have an empty spot in her DB slot, just FYI. Which I'm sure she'll take care of.
Yeah, absolutely. But the champ has struggled. The champ hasn't had an easy path this 2024 season. So I think the pick is easy here at least for me.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with Rubinsky. I'm going to pick BMF for the win.
Yeah, I have to go with the data here. I am also going to go with BMF for the win as well. And I do see she is taking the risk on Mac Jones, who some of the comments inside, one of the funniest things about Yahoo Fantasy is going into the comments inside the individual players. There's chats that you can go in, and there are some really funny chats about Mac Jones, and it's very entertaining. So guys, take a second to go into someone's chats because you're gonna laugh. But yeah, they're basically a lot of stuff saying like this guy shouldn't be allowed to play the NFL anymore, all kinds of stuff. So she's definitely taking a chance there, but I get it. You got it. So you got to swing. You got to take a swing. So good for you for giving it a try, and hopefully it works out in your favor. But yes, I am also going with BMF in this one too. So all right, guys. So let's recap really quick on our picks because that wraps up our picks. So game of the week this week, we did go with Ginger Ninja versus Show Me Your TDs, the number 12 and number 11 spot because that is poop trophy contention. We have both chosen Ginger Ninja to continue her winning ways in that one. In our other matchup, the Sicilians versus Sharkbait, we have both gone with the Sicilians in that one. In the Killer Beers versus Swift Kick of Love, Brother Bowl 2. I, of course, have chosen my team, Killer Beers, while Pablo has chosen a Swift Kick of Love. And I probably would have done that too in other circumstances. In the in the Uruguay versus Primo de las Matador matchup, we have both chosen Uruguay to be victorious in that matchup. And in Moose Knuckles versus Bodie McBoatface, I am saying Bodie is going to get knocked off her pedestal and he's going to sully that undefeated streak. Moose Knuckles is going to steal one away, and that's my pick on that one. While Pablo has said, "Forget it. I'm tired of it. I'm going with data, and I am choosing Bodie to win, even though she is projected to lose." He is taking Bodie in that one. And in our last matchup, where the current champ, Manja in 8th place taking on BMF. We have both chosen BMF to be victorious in that one. So there you have it, everybody. That is this week's picks for the Dirt Invitational leagues and the LOEMP leagues. We wish everybody the best of luck. Make sure you guys all check your trades. Of course, trade deadline is today in the Dirt. Next week is trade deadline in LOEMP leagues. So, and I do have some trades on the block. So, guys, be watching, because I gotta try to make some moves here in the 11th hour.
Absolutely. You and I were both talking about this off air earlier. I missed out on an opportunity to get a trade done because all I did was send the trade offer to this person, and I never really reached out in any other way. And I think that was just not something that was noticed immediately. So my suggestion here, my advice to all, reach out as many different ways as you can. Make sure that the person you're trying to get a trade done with knows that you're interested in a trade, because sometimes that's the best way to make these things happen.
Yep, absolutely. 100%. So, all right, guys. Well, thank you so much for watching today. We appreciate it. We'll be back here next Saturday for Week 12 action on the Touchdown Talk with Pablo and myself, Chris. Pablo, thanks, buddy. It's been a great night, great day. Everybody have an excellent day. Watch your fantasy lineups. Be ready to rock tomorrow. Pablo, any final words?
No, good luck to everybody. Enjoy your weekend. Happy Saturday. Enjoy your Sunday, and best luck to you all.
All right, guys. And as we've been doing here, we are going to play you guys out with some music here. This was released last year. Here's The Fiends, the New Jersey pop punk legends, The Fiends with Bully, right here on Radio Garden State, and as well as YouTube and Facebook. So check this out, and we will see you guys next week here on the Touchdown Talk. Thanks for hanging out, guys. Appreciate it.
Have a great week.
But I never got a chance to tell you what I thought. You better listen up, I'm only gonna say this once. Pack your things up in a hurry. You're nothing but a fucking bully. You'll never get the chance to ever fuck with me again. But I never got a chance to punch you in the face. I really wish I did, it would have been so great. We don't care about your money. You're nothing but a fucking dummy. You'll never get the chance to ever fuck with me again. You'll never get the chance. You'll never get the chance again. Stop pissing in my face and telling me it's rain.